Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of What If Civilization Started Over. In the last episode, we saw lots of European countries form. Unfortunately, I forgot to save the map, which kind of sucked, but I've replicated all the borders as close as I can. But with that out of the way, let's get into this. First, we're going to look at all of the ideologies of all of the new European countries and a few more because it hasn't been updated in quite a while. So we see that Poland becomes a flawed democracy, and so does Germany and the Dutch. But we do see that Brittany becomes a monarch. Sweden becomes a flawed democracy. Finland becomes a monarch. Tunisia becomes a flawed democracy. And finally, we see Yemen and India convert from a flawed democracy into a full democracy. Now I've gone over to Finland because they're going to do a bit of expansion. So we see them go around this lake, around St. Petersburg. Obviously it's not called St. Petersburg in this timeline, but we see them reach all the way over to this coast. And then from there they go around the other lake, exploring all of that. And then they get to about here until they decide that they want to go north. And they get up to the top. So let's take a look at this peace treaty. In this peace treaty we see Finland take lots of surrounding land. So now we're going to see all the newly formed European countries expand. So first we see Sweden expand. Now we've got the Treaty of the Benelux where Germany takes this, the Dutch takes this, and Brittany takes this. This makes the Dutch angry because Germany and Brittany has cut them off. Now we've gone over to the Ottomans because they don't want to follow the same religion as Caspia anymore. So they decide to split off into a different religion with all their allies. So now we're on a new religion layer, and this is what it looks like so far. Now I've gone over to Brittany and the Dutch for the third time in this episode because they're going to be landing on the British Isles. So we see Brittany land down in Cornwall, and they start going north, and they eventually get to here. And then we see the Dutch doing the same, landing in Norwich, and then they start expanding until they eventually meet, and now they're at this, they decide to travel up north a little bit, and then they eventually take a look at a peace treaty. In this peace treaty, we see that they both take their explored land each. Now we are going to go down to the Magenta country because they're going to be landing on the other side of the Red Sea, I think, and they carry on exploring around. And then we also see that this Yemen country is going to also explore a little bit of land, and then now they're going to have a look. Now we will look at what land they got. Magenta got this land, and Yemen got this land. Finally, we've gone over to India because a few people are going to be running away, so they get about here, and then they land in the Myanmar coastline. And then they land here, going around the coast line, and then they start going inland a bit. And then as they explore this, they decide to settle. So let's have a look at what this country's going to look like. So we've got this lime green country, and they're going to set up their capital city just about here. So thank you for watching this episode. Please help us get to our goal for 500 subscribers before the end of January. Happy New Year to everyone who is watching it today, and with that out of the way, goodbye.